This is the Polaris Rail ST. ST stands for step through, and that's part of the advantage of a bike like this. It's set up a little bit more like a round town cruiser. It's got this soft plush seat, decent suspension fork with a lockout and a little bit of variable spring there to kind of reduce, if it's bouncing around. Nice ergonomic grips. I gotta say, overall, the design choice on this with this really fat down tube, that's sort of the signature of Polaris. I like that they've done a lot with the drive system and really updated this since 2012. I'm at Outdoor Demo Day here at Interbike 2014, and this is they're sort of debuting a lot of their new designs. So let me just jump into this. The bike specs. Got 8-speed SRAM trigger shifters right there. SRAM X5 derailleur in the back. Pretty solid. Nice little bash guard here, sort of plastic, but decent. It keeps the chain on track, and so does this little pulley sensor piece that I'm going to get into later. Pedals, metal, they're decent, not the biggest platforms, but they work pretty well. They aren't going to be slippery in water. Alex rims, E-Comp, 700C with this cool reflective sidewall for safety. There aren't lights standard on this bike, but you could always add something like that yourself afterwards if you're using it around town. And yeah, 700 by 40C tires. So they're it's a couple steps up from like a road bike. They add a little bit of cushion to your ride, but it's still fairly efficient in terms of rolling resistance, which is decent. I like that they've got a couple little extras like this cable wrap here, and that's the name of the bike, the Rail. The brakes here are mechanical disc brakes with these nice Tektro levers that cut power to the motor. So there's an extra cable. They've even got the integrated bell, which I really like. It's one of my favorite brake lever designs. And these are 180 millimeter discs down here. Got quick release on the front, but not the rear, because this is a hub drive electric bike. So there's the hub motor in the rear, and this is a gearless direct drive. One of the advantages to a system like this is that it can have regenerative braking, and this one does. Not only does it have regenerative brakes, it also has 2 levels of regen mode. So if you're coasting down a hill like this, you don't have to pull the brakes the whole time. You can just kind of, arrow down on that display console and the bike will regen for you. And that's a good thing because the battery on this bike isn't especially large. They say it's like 44 volts, 6.5 amp hours. That's, well, in terms of voltage, that's pretty high voltage, but not a lot of capacity, or so it seems. So again, having regen and having a really intelligent system here kind of makes up for that and should give you decent range. I haven't range tested this thing myself, but Polaris has been working on this and building a lot of the parts in-house. So this motor, this isn't Bionics. It isn't, it's not some other company. They're working on their own thing, sort of with eVantage. Very, very custom, and it's a 750 watt, which is the top level that you can have legally in the United States. Most electric bikes are like 350, 500 watt motors, so 750 is significant, and it does climb very well. I've heard mixed reviews on this bike at the show from people, but I actually appreciate what they're doing here. It's very unique, so let's jump into that. Not only does this bike have pedal assist, cadence sensing, it also has this big throttle. You can just, use that. Very easy to reach, pretty clean cockpit up here as well. There's the ergo grips, you got your trigger shifters, brake levers, and then this nice display pad. Yeah, it looks like it can maybe be adjusted a little bit. There's the on-off switch right here, and then up and down. And so the different features of this are your battery level, time, your speed, miles per hour, and then your odometer, distance. Right now I'm in -2, which is that regen mode I talked about, but I can arrow up to -1, which is the lowest level assist, all the way up to 3, which is the highest level of assist. And you definitely feel it. As you pedal, what's happening here is there's a little wheel in here that kind of acts as a chain guide. It sort of elevates the chain, which gives you a little more clearance. It's sort of like a secondary benefit, but this wheel is a cadence sensor. So it's sensing how the fact that there's movement in your chain. It's not like a lot of Pedal X sensors, which is a magnetic ring, and these magnets pass a little sensor. There's a gap between each sensor, whereas this, the wheel, it's either spinning or not. There's also a pulley in here that actually senses when you're changing gears, and it senses where the wire is. So you imagine I'm changing from a low gear to a high gear. It's like going like this. Well, there's a sensor in there, and what it does is it tells the motor how fast to go. It's sensing that, oh, they're going to a lower gear. They're probably going to be going up a hill, not going super fast. Let's slow down the motor a little bit. Or maybe you're going to a lower gear because you're cruising around a crowd, which we have at Interbike, and you don't want to hit people. With a lot of electric bikes, what happens is you take it to the lowest level of assist, and it helps you less, but it's still trying to get you to 20 miles per hour. This one doesn't try and get you to 20 miles. It takes it all the way down in terms of speed, and it changes from reducing the power to actually increasing the power at lower speeds, because you might need that to climb. So it's like lower torque, lower speed, and I think that's awesome. I think that's really brilliant. This is a sophisticated system. I do notice that. Some of the downsides, though, is that as I've been riding, you hear the motor, and even a little bit of vibration. Some people were joking about that earlier, like a butt massage. But maybe that's just part of what happens at these lower high torque levels. I don't know. The regen works pretty well, and it climbs like a champ. It's able to reach that top speed pretty well. So maybe I've done enough talking. We should just hop on this thing. Should mention that the battery pack is removable right here, but it can be charged on or off the bike. There's like a charging port right there. That's nice. If you need to take this off and store it inside for bad weather, or maybe just to make the bike lighter. This is about a 52-pound bike. Stem is adjustable right here, or neck, I guess. That's decent for ergonomics. This does come in a small and medium size. And again, step through is going to be a little bit easier just to swing your foot over like that. And there's even like some threaded eyelets here for maybe adding a rack yourself or some fenders. So, pretty standard stuff. Again, $2,500 price range. Good kickstand. I'm gonna go up this hill, and I'm just gonna do it with the throttle here. Okay, so I'm in pedal assist level 3, and I'm in a low gear, and it's not taking me much faster than 8 miles per hour, and that's part of the low torque thing that we were talking about a second ago, right? And if I want to go down the hill, I could switch to a harder gear. Let's go all the way up to 8, and I mean, you immediately feel it. I'm already up to 17. Woo! Get a little squirrely there. That's cool. Oh boy, taking it off-road. So here's the throttle. I'm gonna turn around and whoa. A little bit of climbing here. You can hear a little bit of that hum I was talking about. It's like, and you feel it through the seat. But again, there's electromagnets in there. This isn't geared, and you're getting quite a bit of torque, considering you still have to pedal a little bit to kind of get it going. I've noticed it's not like just sitting there and throttling is going to take you up a hill, depending on the gear you're in. It's just interesting. It's an interesting setup, and I like that they're exploring a new space with this bike. Might do another quick little ride test. So I'm in like a little bit of a lower gear. So hopefully you can hear that. That was the delay I was talking about. I stopped pedaling, and the motor's still going. It's not the most responsive in that sense, but overall, offering something kind of unique. So that's the Polaris Rail ST. For the full review on this, including specs and pictures and stuff, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.